Hello and welcome. My name is 𝗘𝗏𝗿𝗁 from CHC, and I welcome you to the newest episode of the CHC Expert Interview. And actually what we are doing, we are helping other entrepreneurs grow their business and multiply their revenue. And today I have a super interesting guest because he has really an awesome story. And he had not an easy story or an easy history, but he will tell you more in a couple of seconds. So hello and welcome, Michael Hanzl. Please introduce yourself.
Okay, thank you, Stefan. Thanks a lot. Hello, everybody. I'm happy to be here with you. And yeah, I don't know. Is there anyone out there who has an easy story? I don't know. I never met one. So each success story starts sometimes with trouble. So yeah, my name is Michael. I'm a chemist, and I found out quite early in my lifetime that one of my biggest values, or my main values, is freedom. So when I start working after school in a 9-to-5 job, I always started in sales. So hours were never a topic. It was always about turnover, revenue, networks, clients, business, etc. So I'm since 30+ years now in business development and sales and entrepreneurship. And yeah, when you have a high value of freedom and the demand to improve your freedom, there is not a good idea to be in a job, actually. So, and I think that this what connects us all entrepreneurs worldwide, that this is the wish of freedom to be your own boss, to make your own decisions, to not report to any ideals of any organizations. And yeah, that's the reason why I started in entrepreneurship. I started small. I started when I was around 30 with going to a network marketing company. Mm-hmm. We built up there a big organization, and once we had around more than 1,000 people inside of Europe in our organization, then it broke down. It broke down immediately after we reached really a very nice organization, and we had to start from zero. Then I started something from zero, which was a kind of a franchise concept, which failed again 2 years later. So then I was forced to go in a job again. And being in this job was not easy, not, to be honest, absolutely not easy to start again a 9-to-5 job. But within a couple of months, when I was in the company, I thought to myself, I will do that by my own, not for this company. So yeah, and I jumped out and started again. And this time it succeeded. We are now since 8 years on the market. We have international team, partnerships, manufacturers and clients. We're working from Asia to South America and from Canada to Italy, everything in between, and everything from home. So that's or wherever this home is. This depends where we are located. And this is what the fun factor is. So we never gave up. We started all over again, and here we are.
That's really awesome. Thank you for sharing your story. So let me ask you, you had multiple failures, if you want to call it, or experiences you had to deal with in your history. So how do you deal with failure? How do you get up again? How do you become successful again? Because you built something, it broke down. You built something new, it broke down again. You built something new, it broke down again. But you did it over and over and over again. So how are you dealing with failure and get up again?
Yeah, to be honest, I recommend everyone to get failed at once, at least, because that's where the character is built. And it's everything is super funny and super fine when everything is fine and running well and no problems and no troubles. It's easy, everybody can do it. When it comes to hard times, that's where the character is forming. That's where your personality is getting formed. This is where you really consider, do I really want to be an entrepreneur? Or is it more convenient for me again to start something 9 to 5? That's the big question. And for me, well, always the discussion, the never give up position is clear. I mean, if something is running really bad, you should consider to give it up and start something new. Okay, you should not do it until you are totally broken. That's not what I recommend. But to come to a point where you don't see any light is around, there are two possibilities. Either you stop and start something new, which is more valuable for you or brings more money. Or on the other hand, maybe you're just 2 months before the breakthrough. That's the other thing. I mean, if your idea is good and you find one other person who thinks also this is a good idea what you are doing, then you can rely on this. You have at least one. And if you have one, you get two. And if you have two, you got four, and so on and so on. It's just a matter of time and the efforts you are putting in.
Yeah. But how do I know as an entrepreneur if this is set up for failure or if I am 2 months before finally get through?
That's a good
because
question.
I mean, a lot of people are grinding and hustling like crazy and trying, but are not really getting through this magic wall where they finally say, oh wow, now I'm where I want to be, or now I have this success, or now I have this customers, or now I get this income flow and all these things. How do I know? Is it probably really not the right thing? And should I stop before I completely destroy my personal health, for example, or really went broke? Or probably it's right before I can really become successful?
I discovered both of them. I discovered one thing I started, I think 2010, 29, which failed totally. And deep beside the figures, they were awful, to be honest. But beside the figures, deep inside myself, I felt, Michael, it's maybe not really the right thing for you. And I think you can hear on your inner voice. On the second time, also here when I started the business where I am in now, this was not the highway to success from the beginning. This was, again, there were some milestones what we achieved and what we also not achieved. But in this kind of business where I was, figures were better, absolutely. But not only the figures, but also the inner voice was strong and said, come on, Michael, this is your chance. Go through. Whatever comes, go through. You will do it. And pick up the phone, call the next one. Pick up the phone, call this guy. Pick up the phone, call this lady. And the inner voice guided me in that way. And if we are listen more to our stomach than to our brains, then more things will go faster, easier, and without any complication. That's my recommendation about
definitely a good advice for entrepreneurs. Definitely a good advice. Probably not when it comes to chocolate, because then we will eat more chocolate than we should.
Yeah, that's true. I agree. That's true. I agree. Yeah.
But for entrepreneurship, that's definitely an awesome advice. And I totally agree. Really, I totally agree. Because I experienced so many failures in my history also, and in my life. And a lot of projects didn't work out. I had so many ideas. I started so many things, or I also created so many different products in my companies. And just a few of them became really successful. Yeah. And I think this is also something we have to know as an entrepreneur, that not always the first idea or all ideas and projects and products you are creating will be successful.
Exactly, absolutely agree.
You can learn in every single situation, and I think this is super important for a lot of people. When you learn something from your failures, you can evolve, and you can take this experience you generated through this failure, and then you can do something new, and most likely this will become more successful than the first thing which failed. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
How did you took the learnings out of the failures you had?
I mean, yeah, the one very important philosophy of myself is no idiots philosophy, and that combines everything. I don't want to make business with people I don't like, with people who behave not in a good manner, people who are pushing their ego in front of everything. And that's, I think, was the main failures the main points in my two earlier failures. Absolutely, to rely on people where I didn't felt so well. And when I started this one, I learned the lesson again a third time, because in the beginning I relied also on people who I didn't trust too much in the beginning. I liked them, they were polite and they were kind, but something in my stomach said, are they really the partners you want to deal with? And exactly that happened 6 months later, when they quit their contracts and whatever, and took away clients and so on and so on. And then I decided to myself, I will never, ever make a business with people I don't like. And I can just give you this advice. This, I think, is one of the most valuable lessons that I learned. This includes employees, includes strategic partners, this includes clients, this includes manufacturers or suppliers, whatever you are dealing with.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I think it's the main lessons. And the second is, what's the alternative? What's the alternative to be your own boss? To work for somebody else who is the boss? Do you really like that?
This was definitely a no-go, at least for me and my whole life.
Yeah.
I was always working for myself since over 22 years in the meantime. So crazy long time.
Exactly.
So I think the advice you just gave to really build your business, build your company, build your customer base with people you like brings a lot of freedom also for us as an entrepreneur. And you also told us at the beginning, this is one of the, or your main value when it comes to being an entrepreneur. So tell us how you can live this freedom in the meantime, because I know you have an international team, you have multiple companies in different countries, you are traveling a lot, you are working remote, you can work from wherever you like. So how do you deal with all these opportunities in the meantime, and how did you build this freedom?
I think the time in which we are living right now is quite weird, to be honest, but gives us a lot of opportunities. I mean, the digitalization in which we are living in, I mean, I've since 10 years my paperless office, and I'm always working remote. This is also one of the biggest value. I'm not a tree, so I can move, and that's why I became a human and not a tree. A tree cannot be moved, or just with a lot of efforts. But you can go, and you have not to be on the place where you don't want to be. And I love to be in other countries. I love to be knowing new people in various types of cultures. And that's why I always, whenever I started a business, one of the main points was to be able to work remote, not to have a production by your own. You can produce your product somewhere else, under your brand, under your supervising. So that's not a problem. There are a lot of manufacturers outside worldwide who can do whatever you want to produce. And so it's not required. It's not required to have your own bookkeeping. You can outsource this one as well. When I started, someone told me work smart, not hard. That's not exactly what I would sign. Work smart is a good idea, and working hard sometimes is required to be successful. But working hard doesn't mean that it should be a big weight on your shoulders. It should be a kind of passion. I never understood my work in the last 9 years as work. Never, not one day. When there is Sunday evening and I have time and feel that's now a good time to answer some email from last week, I will do that. Why not? It's not work. It's what I love to do. When I will take a day off on Tuesday because I want to play a round of golf or whatever, I'm sharing time with family, then it's not a day taking off from whatever. It's just part of the life.
Yeah.
And when there are so many working tools you can have Zoom like we have right now. We do a lot of meetings with our customer and clients and partners now online instead of meeting personally. I have one IT system. It's very easy to figure. It costs 40 euros a day and a month, and it covers everything what I need. I mean, why to rent an office? Yeah. Why to have everybody around you? It's not required in times like this.
Yeah. So this also means, or I think this also means you have to build your business the right way in the meantime, or in 2022, because I was also in a situation before COVID hit a couple of years ago, where I built multiple companies, but finally got stuck in a situation where I definitely was not free anymore, because I had to travel so much. I was on business trips 7 months in a row. I was 15 hours a day, no, not a day, 15 hours a week in the car to drive from one side to the other side, from one project to the other, from one client to the next. So I was constantly moving around, but not where I wanted to be, because I wanted to have the freedom of choice to work where I want, when I want, with whom I want, and how I want. And it was definitely the opposite. So I was building companies, but I was building it not in the right way. And in the meantime, I completely restructured all my companies and also have the freedom that I can work where I want. And I think this is also something, especially people should think more when they start or when they are in their early days, because you can build companies in a remote way, or you can build companies that you have as an office building, your employees, right, a production site, as you just told us. Yeah,
right. I fully agree on that. And I think whenever you have a company, wherever you are right now in your organization and in your development of the company, a company is always developing and evolving, not developing, more evolving. And I think it's quite an excellent time to consider about restructuring, finding new opportunities, and also taking someone from outside in and say, that's what we are doing and that's what we are planning to do. How can we implement it? So somebody with another view, with having a new ideas or another idea about your business, because it doesn't understand it, because it's so special. So that's all required. You need, even if you're very if you're a person who decides everything alone and doesn't need anybody else, sometimes it's still important to get a feedback from somebody you trust and somebody who is on the same stage or maybe advanced from you, like a kind of mentor. I mean, that's important.
Yeah, That's really, really super interesting. So, Michael, I could go on and on and on and on, but let's stay with this at the moment. And so I'm sure a lot of people have a lot of questions and probably are super interested to get connected with you. So what's the best way to reach out to you? What's the best way to connect with you? Where can they find you?
You can find me on LinkedIn. That's, I think, the most professional way. I think I'm also on Facebook, but Facebook, I'm just fooling around with animals and whatever. So.
Okay, so when you're my real life, reach out on Facebook. When you want to do business with Michael, reach out on
Yes, Facebook. Exactly. Yes, yes.
That's awesome. Michael, thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate it. And I took a lot of notes. You probably saw it. So thanks again for your time. And also for all your entrepreneurs out there. Yeah, you heard it. You don't have to stay in the failure. You can build your business the right way, and you can also have the freedom you deserve, and you just have to go for it. So thank you very much. Take care and see you soon.
Thank you, Stefan. Bye to everyone.
Bye.